This is a good question when it comes to astral projection. It says, "Hi Ryan, I'm stuck on getting the vibrational stage. I can get my body mostly relaxed and stuff, but can't seem to get past that bit." You might not need to go through the vibrational stage. It's a common misconception when it comes to astral projection that we need to reach this state of being whereby which we're vibrating in our beds. And then only once the vibration stage passes, then we separate out of our body and explore the astral plane. Well, that's only for people who are absolute beginners. Perhaps they've never even tried meditation or qigong. Their energy system hasn't been set up in such a way whereby which they don't need to go through the vibrational state. You see, these beginners, because they're basically dealing with lead, the vibrational stage itself during an astral projection attempt is nothing more than what I like to call astral puberty. Their energies sorting themselves out so that the person can then leave their body eventually. And so if you're not experiencing the vibrational stage, you probably don't need to. Instead, just expect to leave the body within about 20 to 30 minutes, have a very clear idea on what that actually looks like, and then wait for it to happen. Try not to control too much. Is it possible to exit a dream on purpose and then astral project? Yes, it is 100% possible. Matter of fact, most people accidentally do this because whilst they're dreaming, a being and or otherwise an entity will enter into their dreams, making them lucid for a brief moment. This level of lucidity is just enough to have them then come to in their physical body, after which they then transition out of the body into the etheric plane. Paul says how to set the mindset of astral projection. Well, it's quite easy. You first have to have a clear understanding as to what it is you're trying to achieve, what it first looks like, as well as to what it feels like. Now, these two things can be quite impossible for the average person if they've never experienced an out-of-body experience before. This is why it's so much easier for people who've accidentally slipped into sleep paralysis or have had an astral projection experience involuntarily within their lives. All they've got to do is simply remember that past experience and expect more of the same. That would be their intention. So if you're watching this and you've gone through it before, just do what I just said, and you should leave the body if you believe it's going to happen. If you have doubts, if you think you're going to fall asleep, then you'll fall asleep. Simply put, the mind follows the expectation of the user. Otherwise, you're going to have to start to recreate some of the experiences using some pretty basic methods that will give you an idea around what astral projection is supposed to feel like. I have multiple courses on my website which will help you discover this, as well as to some videos on my YouTube channel. Look at the top 5 ways to leave the body. In there you have numerous exercises that will show you how to experience a very similar feeling to astral projection. If you do those and then expect more of that whilst you lay down for about 20 to 30 minutes, then you'll leave your body. When it comes to astral projection, this particular individual has a certain problem that I believe a lot of you might actually encounter, especially if you're trying to leave the body. It says, "My problem is I get there and then I wake up, then I'm stuck in both. Sleep paralysis. How do I maintain focus?" Essentially, they get to the astral plane, but they don't quite leave their body, and so they find themselves stuck in sleep paralysis, probably drifting in and out between worlds, our world and this ethereal plane. Essentially, this means that your energy bodies aren't developed enough for you to leave the body completely. It could also mean that you're too tired and that you're trying this at night. Don't do this at nighttime. It's very hard to get your energies working towards an astral projection experience just because your energies want to make you fall asleep. Try your astral projection attempts during the middle of the day or the morning. You'll have far greater success. You have more energy to get out of the body and actually explore your room and or your house. If it's the former, if your energies aren't quite developed enough for astral projection, I'd advise doing some type of qigong exercises. That's what I used to do in the beginning, and or developing your chakra system. Oh, this is a good one. How do you change planes and how do you actually get powers? They're talking about in the astral plane, of course. How do you shift between one dimension to another, and how do you exhibit superpower-like abilities? Well, the honest truth is, to develop abilities, you need to be in a position where you're attacked. I know it sounds like it's too much, but honestly, you'll only most likely get attacked in one specific plane called the etheric plane. You'll go there if you astral project at nighttime. Start astral project at nighttime and you'll be fine. Basically, upon being attacked, your astral body will automatically switch on its self-defense mechanisms. That might be a burst of light coming from your hand. It might be, like in my case last night, you become a blanket of energy, not literally a blanket that you get covered up in, but you become this omnipresent energy that fills the room and pushes out every dark force that's within it. So many ways in which your astral body could eliminate a threat. This one time I pushed my hand forward like this, just with the intention to get this ghost away from me. Her neck was broken, she was quite weird looking. And then all of a sudden, behind her materialized a door. She then went into the door, and consecutively, many doors after that, like an infinity mirror. Once she reached the end, which opened up the final door, bursting out all this white light, the door closed, all the mirrors came back, all the doors collapsed, and then the door faded from existence. I left the room, thinking to myself, if I think that she'll come back, she will. And at the corner of my eye, as I closed the door, I saw her face come out of the wall. I left the house, okay? And so, many times I've been attacked in the astral plane, and that's how I've found out as to how to protect myself in the astral plane. I'm assuming it'll be the same for you and anyone else. Of course, there are trinkets that you can wear, certain things that you can say and do in order to protect your house and the people within it. But ultimately, when it comes to astral superpowers, confrontation is what triggers them. How do you change planes? That's too big of an explanation to discuss here. Way too big. That probably deserves its own video. Would people be able to summon you in a way? What? W-O? I don't know what that is. You having memory or arriving to whatever, say like their house or something. So I can't read your comment. Edit not your... I can't read your comment, so I can't answer your comment. Blessed UN says, is it possible to go back to the beginning of time or travel to the future? He's talking about using astral projection to traverse time and space, and yes you can. I've made numerous videos on this topic. However, I must add, if you leave the body, perhaps your belief systems are as such that you can leave the body, but you don't believe in anything else further, be that you don't believe in time travel, then you will not time travel in the astral plane. You have to both not only believe in astral projection, but also believe in what you're capable of achieving in the astral plane in order to be open to that type of experience, you know? And so, yeah, it's weird me saying that. You'd think that people who believed in astral projection would believe in everything else, but no. And upon hindsight, that actually does make, that's not weird at all. I've lucid dreamt before, but until I do this, it's not real. He was talking about astral projection. I hope that he believes in astral projection enough to at least try, because if you don't believe in it and that's deciding as to whether or not you actually give it a shot, then you'll never experience astral projection because you'll never try. Who knows, maybe lucid dreaming will transition him over into the astral plane, giving him one big surprise. Vic says, how do I get myself out of my headspace awareness? There's times where I can shift it to my heart space or throat, but it goes back. Yeah, this is going to be very useful if you want to try and tell meditation where you're dropping your consciousness into certain areas associated to the chakras. I'll give you this one exercise. I actually built a course around it. Essentially what you do is you take your fingers and you place them either side of your head. You then try to figure as to where you exist inside of your skull. Right now it feels like I'm kind of where the pineal gland is, just in between the ears. And I feel like I'm just floating there, like a free-formed consciousness. Well, I would like to take my fingers then and just kind of place them below where I feel situated in my head. And now, this is important. You don't want to bring your fingers down in an attempt to drag your awareness down. You simply want to bring your fingers down and then play catch-up. Use your willpower to then take your mind down the central channel of your body, following the fingers. And so, again, I'm in the middle of my head. I put my fingers either side of my head. There we go. And then I bring my fingers down and I gradually follow, using my willpower to bring my awareness down, following my fingers. I come back around the ears, past the jaw, and I follow my fingers down and down very slowly into my throat. Yeah? And that's how you do it. Spend some time sitting in the throat. Allow yourself to think inside of the throat. And if you want to do the same thing with the other chakras, you can. You can actually think inside different parts of your body. Lizard says, you know, I saw your Facebook post, came over, but I just took some shrooms. So I don't know if I should be watching your videos right now, but also I'm curious and excited. I hope you definitely did that third eye exercise. Man, tell me what you experienced. Alright, and that's it. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comment section below and I'll respond to them like this.